Ladies, I'm ready for my letters. Are you ready?
Yes, we are.
And I'm sure the viewers are ready too. Okay, so let's get into it. So our first letter. Dear Sisters, I'm a 36-year-old man who works in one of the financial institutions in the country. I got married in 2018 and have one kid from my 5-year-old marriage who is a sickle cell patient. When I met my partner, she told me she was AA, and knowing I am AS, I concluded it was okay for us to get married, and we would likely have AA or at most AS kids. After the birth of my daughter, I realized my partner is rather AC as against what she told me before we got married. I got very disappointed as I left a relationship because of this same sickling issue, only for me to end up with one. I sometimes wonder why I did not test before finally taking a decision. The issue has affected my relationship with her. Dealing with the sickling issue, she has been diagnosed with polycystic ovary syndrome, and that is PCOS, or PCOS as some people call it. And it's complicating the whole issue. PCOS is the leading cause of infertility among women. Although PCOS does not stop women from having babies, conceiving becomes difficult due to these conditions. She used to wake me up with knocks on my head or a blow to my body, which violently wakes me up from my sleep. I complained on several times because I wake up with bad headaches and a high blood pressure, and I'm currently on medication. She vacated our bedroom into one of the vacant rooms, but later came back because the other room had no AC installed, but the master bedroom, which we occupied, does. She kept waking me up violently, so I gave up the room and moved to the other room, which I have been occupying to date. It is very peaceful there, and I always wake up refreshed and ready to work. Aside from the health issues, she is kind of rude and at times talks to me like I'm her child. One of many instances includes when ECG had network issues and became difficult for us to get power. We had to sleep in the dark for 3 straight nights. At that time, a friend who is into catfish production had given me one and was in the freezer. Yeah. I suggested that we use it for a soup, and it's likely to go to waste. She indicated she fears the fish and won't do it. I explained to her that the fish is not different from other fishes we eat, and it is not alive. And that should be no issue. So I got dressed in front of our help and had to leave the house for the office because I was hearing voices of violence. And these were days when spousal killings were in the rise in this country. All sexual desire for her vanished when I tried on some occasions to be intimate with her, but she refused. I moved from my room to hers to have intimacy with her, but she shouted at me, leaving me very embarrassed. On another occasion, she gave me an excuse that she wasn't well, and I had to let go. After those occasions, I feel very scared to try and get intimate with her, and she will also not make any move. I don't even remember the last time I got intimate with her. I'm in a serious dilemma. My family keeps asking me why I am delaying the birth of my second child. None of my family members know about the issues except my father and my kid brother. My dad initially wanted us to go our separate ways because his first child had a sickle cell and eventually died and had to leave the first wife to avoid any more casualty. He feels the pain of his first grandchild is also sickle cell. There is this lady at my workplace I have become very close to, and she seems to know how to calm the storm anytime I talk to her. I open up to her, and she also did. Unfortunately, she doesn't desire to have any relationship with any colleague of hers, which means I stand no chance of becoming more than a good friend, as she calls me. We used to speak more than 5 times a day, both on video and normal telephone calls. We talk late into the night and never seem to get tired of each other. I have recently decided to give her some space, as she keeps saying she is single and can do whatever she wants. That's to go on dates and talk to any man if she so desires, which is very true. But that hurts me because I feel something for her. Anytime she says that, I feel like an arrow has been shot straight into my heart and it is affecting me. I really understand her position because I am married and work in the same company, a major red flag in brackets. And we are stationed in the same building, but on different floors. She is beautiful and she is the toast of many men, both single and married in the office building. I'm from a Christian background and divorce is a big deal. Anytime the issue of divorce pops up, my partner's mother breaks down and calls me crying. My old man, who initially wanted us to go our separate ways and have a fresh start, want me to stay and hope for a miracle. I'm in a fix and do not know what to do. Life is too short to live with regrets. I want out, and I know she desires the same. She recently reported me to her mom to ask me if I really wanted the marriage. I couldn't answer her as such conversations cannot be had on the phone. Also, the mom becoming emotional and crying on the phone makes me very uncomfortable. What is the appropriate thing to do, as I'm lost and slipping slowly into depression? From an anonymous, confused young man. That's a long letter. Marie Rose?
Yes, it's quite confusing for him, I know, because I think it's an issue I have been talking about lately as a counselor, because I've realized, especially marriage counseling, sometimes when people come as part of the marriage counseling, you let people go and do some medical background check to, especially for this reason, so that people are aware what they are going for. And I advise a lot of young people to know their genotype, so that when you are choosing, it's better they know earlier before they choose. Sometimes you fall in love, then you realize that the person is a certain genotype, which you are also saying, and it might result in having a sickling child. But in the case of the lady, I wouldn't say that she lied to him or something. True. Because sometimes people have gone to do their test and it shows one thing, and another time they go and do it and it shows another. So maybe she didn't know and she was genuine about it. She didn't know, and she whatever that she had done told her that she was AA, and so there was no problem. In actual fact, when you have the AA or AS, these are the genotypes you can have. AA, AS, AC, SS, SC.
The lady was actually AC.
She was AC, yeah. When later they went to do the test, but initially she told him she was AA.
Yeah.
And he knew his genotype that he was AS. So he went ahead, because when you're AS, you don't have to go for anybody who is AS. Or SS or AC or SC, because your probability of producing a child like that is higher. It's all a probability. Unfortunately for them, I know some people who didn't know at all, and they married, and both of them were AS, and they had 2 kids, and they were excellent.
Yeah.
AA, AS.
Yeah.
You know, and they didn't try again when they got to know. So, but unfortunately, the first attempt is a sickler that had come. That doesn't mean that another one will be a sickler, because it's a probability. So now what they've had, I think, is the SC has come first.
Okay.
So the next should be either AC or AS or AA. It shouldn't necessarily be SC again.
Yeah.
So,
But because of the
but
PCOS
now because of the PC, it's treatable.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they have to go to the hospital. They have to work that with a doctor. So they have to go to the hospital, and then a gynae will take care of her. And I believe that she can, because people have been told they are PCOS and all that, and they've had babies.
Plenty.
You know, yes. So it's not the end of the and that shouldn't give him a cause to start looking outside, and now you are looking like at a lady in the office who is single and chatting and blah blah blah. You have committed yourself to a marriage, even if you have to have just one child. When you take good care of her or him, whatever child that they have,
Yes.
that child is going to grow well. Now there's so much help for syphilis, even though it might be expensive. But there's even a bone marrow transplant that they can do to change it. It might be expensive. But then there's sickle cell clinic at Kolebu where people attend clinic regularly and they are showed what to do. So you understand, you know how to prevent crisis and all that. When you live with knowledge, formerly people were having children, their children were dying and they didn't know that was all because of this. And for me, even lately, I've spoken to a lot of people and I realized, hey, a lot of Ghanaians are AS and ACO. That's on the serious note. And it becomes a concern. You know, there are a lot of Ghanaians walking out there. They are AS and AC. And so I think that even I'll use this platform to entreat our health services that when mothers give birth to their babies, they should check there and then so that the children know, the parents know while the child is growing, which is done everywhere, I mean, in the Western world. So the child knows at least your blood group, your genotype. It's very important so that people don't just walk without knowledge, then suddenly it springs up on them, hey, I am this, and then it's like the world is coming to an end. There should be enough information out there, and there should be help out there, and explain to parents so that they know how to handle children in this situation. So I am the confused young man, please. All hope is not lost.
Yeah.
All hope is not lost. At least she's been able to give birth. One. There's some people, it takes time. They have their own natural time that it takes for them to get pregnant again. Talk to your wife, sit her down, and look at the situation as it is. Discuss it, and then find a way forward that will help the two of you to live together, because if you have a sickling child, you need a sound home for that child to grow in. He doesn't need any more wahala and trouble.
Sisho.
Well, so much has been said by Marie-Rose, which covers most of the areas that I want to talk about, but I need to address the fact that there's an account saying that dear Mwane Dino, Omundi Nkoba Diakano, Yebebo Hubai. Like she's rightly said, it's important that when you meet someone, you do some of these background checks for things like this, especially when it comes to reproductive issues, the kind of children you are going to bring to this world. The spouse you are going to spend the rest of your life with, you want to check that their blood type is matching with yours. You want to check that their mental health is stable enough to be responsible for a home, because already marriage as it stands is work in itself. So to end up with, I always say if you have a child and it's a healthy child, that alone is a win, you know? Forget a responsible spouse and all that, but if you have, because that is a big deal. When you meet parents with a sickle cell child or a Down syndrome child or any of these other diseases that are genetically inclined, there's a lot of work that goes into it. So I can imagine the challenge on the woman. Then you come to the marriage in itself. We don't know what stress she's going through as a woman, having to deal with PCOS one,
everything,
and then having to deal with a sick child too. So somebody needs to hold a brief for her. But that being said, rudeness in marriage is unacceptable under any circumstance. I think at this point, what they can do is have counseling, go for counseling, speak to people that she respects, have her get involved in the entire counseling process, because again, nobody condones marriage. To get to the point where you decide to marry someone is a huge step. We can't just sit here and say, oh, divorce her or go. And to date in your office is just wrong on every level. I tell people, like, if you don't, there's so many environments you can find women in, but your workspace, I mean, can you keep that out of, some of these things? Because the moment it goes wrong or it goes south, then everything else that comes with it goes crumbling down. That being said, even the whole looking outside of your marriage is wrong. So they just have to look at counseling at this point. He's already married to the woman. And like she's rightly said, PCOS is a treatable thing. I've had it at some point and it's been treated. And, life has moved on. Yes, I have my children. So even though I'm not married. So
I love you.
So
let's bring to that.
Yes. So at the end of the day, it's one of those things every woman aspires to. And I don't think she's sitting there thinking or hoping that her marriage crumbles. So I think there are issues she's dealing with that she's probably not dealing with it well as a woman. Some counseling will definitely help, hopefully. And then if it doesn't help, then we can now circle back to think of what the plan B should be. But as it stands now, I think they should have some counseling. It will do a great deal of help. Yeah.
Rose?
Yes, Sicho has said like 70% of what I was going to say. But the thing is, even from the way the gentleman sent in the submission, you can tell that right from the word go, he decided to lay blame on the side of the woman.
Yeah.
Because personally, my younger sister, since we were growing, we've always known that she's AS. We've always known she's AS. So my family, my mother's side, I'm AS, my youngest AS, and then the middle child was AA. Yeah, is AA. Then she became a doctor. And then for some reason, she decided to run the vitals again. And she realized that she's actually AA and not AS. So which means that some of these tests, especially those that were done long ago at birth, sometimes as you are growing, you realize that things change and the tests are more accurate. And then, you might get more accurate results. It's just like fingerprints and things. There were times they couldn't do fingerprints. So there are crimes that were committed 30, 40 years ago. They now go back into the lab and they're able to find new things, forensics and all that. But it looks like as soon as the thing happened, because he felt that he had declared AS, and that's what he really is, and the woman said she was AA, it looks like from the onset, the communication was like, you lied to me.
Yeah.
You told me you were AA, and yet it comes out you are AC. So already you put blame on the woman. I'm saying this, I'm talking like because it's the man who is sending the letter. So you are already putting blame on the woman. Now the woman in herself is battling with herself. I've always known I'm AA. How did I become AC? Am I responsible for a child being like this? Because not everybody can handle a child like that. And funny enough, people who are AC, I'm AS, they present themselves as very strong. They don't even get malaria.
Yeah.
We don't even get malaria. So they are so strong. Being sickling or even a carrier is so far, so remote from their minds. So the question is that, look, I think you have put too much pressure on her, put the blame on her, and now she's reacting. She's rebelling. Because I'm sure that the child is saying, this one cry. If you had known your blood group properly, or you lied to me, you told me you were AA. Now see the child because of you. See the child that we have. If I had known my former relationship, I left the girl because of this same thing. No, you lied to me, and So I'm sure if he's nagging about it, the woman is in a place that is not good.
Yeah.
And that is what is giving birth to the violence,
to the attitude.
The attitude problems. Because listen, we are humans. What you give is what you get.
Yeah.
What you get, because like Teacher rightly said, no woman in the right senses, or most women, because there are a few cycles out there, would marry properly, have a child, and want to do things to destabilize and get a divorce.
Yeah.
It's never an intention of a woman to do that. You understand? Or a normal woman to do that. So the moment she starts doing certain things that looks like she's not behaving well, most of the time, she has not been treated well, she has not been spoken to well, a lot of blame game has delayed, like so many things have gone wrong. Now, I was following him and sympathizing with him until he said he has met an office.
Yeah.
You see, I that thing, listen, who the cap fits.
Let them wear it.
You know, until you are presented with a situation, you cannot know how to act. See, somebody will say that, oh, as for me, I'm a very patient person. I'm a very tolerant person. I'm not even talking about the husbands. Wait till your children teach you truly what patience means.
Yeah.
You think I love deeply. Wait, your children will show you whether you love deeply or not.
Yeah.
You think to me that I don't get angry, I'm a very forgiving person. You wait until you're confronted with that problem that you say, I cannot forgive. So this woman is in a situation that this side chick in the office is not in. Cannot understand, cannot comprehend. All she can do is to sympathize. And trust me, if you put your wife and this lady on the same level, this other lady in the office, by far, she has no responsibilities towards you. When the child is sick at night, she doesn't have to rush the child to the
That's your
hospital
business,
with you.
not hers.
She doesn't have to care with the child with you. So naturally, she will say the right things. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry you had to do that. Oh my, do you want to drink? Do you want us to hang out? Do you want us to do this? She has the right things because she has no responsibility. So men and women alike, when you're in a marriage and you're having issues, be it attitudinal issues, character issues, issues with the children, all manner of issues, I get angry when one party decides to think that some other person outside of the marriage is giving a better solution. Because that person, if they were in the shoes of your wife or your husband,
Would have even done
they
worse.
might probably be worse. And the moment you start looking at that as an option, it begins to look so attractive that even if your wife or your husband is pulling their weight, you don't see it. Because it's not as sweet and as tasty as the one you're experiencing from work. And the one you're experiencing from work spends a few hours with you and then goes home to go and have a good time. You know, so at the end of the day, she doesn't have any responsibility towards you, towards your family, even towards the child. She maybe once in a while, when your child is sick, send you a message, oh, how is she doing? How is the baby doing? Is the baby okay? Is the baby all right? But her level of concern can never be compared to the mother. And like you rightly said, when you have children with issues, sickle cell, autism, Down syndrome, what they need is a stable environment. And like you said, I know sickle cell friends who have grown, and some of them actually are able to manage their symptoms to the extent that they can be in the office and go like, look, I need to check myself to the hospital now. So they go in, they have their hospitals that they go in, and then they just get onto a drip or get onto something, get onto medication. And some of them are even on the medication and are still working remotely from the hospital because they have their laptops and stuff, but they need to get some form of infusion or something. So a lot of them have learned how to live with it. I was born asthmatic, but I've learned how to live with asthma. Now I know what to do. When I'm going to a certain environment, I know precautions to take so that I don't fall prey to an attack just left, right, center. You understand? So I've learned to live with it. The same way I've learned to live with asthma, there are sickle cell people who now, especially with technology, new medicine, they are learning to live with it. So my gentleman who sent in the text, it's unfortunate that you have to deal with an SC person. And even the C was not even popular when we were young.
Yeah.
It was either
It was
AS, or
yeah.
SS. The C, some of us started hearing it only much later.
Yeah.
So it's possible that at the time of diagnosing her, the C was not even seen.
Mm-hmm.
So don't blame your wife too much. It's possible that she probably honestly did not know. And this PCOS, like my sisters have said, let me not dwell on it, is treatable. I know a lot of PCOS people who have had children. Some even end up having multiples because of that particular condition. They are even proven that it's difficult to get pregnant. They are more prone to having multiples sometimes. So, I mean, there are so many things that, could happen. But at the end of the day, she's your wife. Marriage, for better, for worse. For richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, till death do us part. If you go biblical, the only exception is that if you are cheating, and that is what you want to do now, please don't do it. So just take your time, breathe in, breathe out. It's difficult on you. And you have a history in your grandfather's whatever, to sort of like, it gives you also bad memories. So I think that both of you need counseling. Single counseling, joint counseling, and even counseling together with a child if she's old enough, so that you can brave through this. But I don't think that this is a situation that merits a divorce. It's just a confused state.
Right.
So it can be helped.
Okay.